Alright, the first thing I'm doing is, damn, what am I doing? I'm taking out my armature and covering that in aluminum foil and covering that in Super Sculpt original. But before I do that, I'm wrapping some small wire around the big wire to act as an anchor, because my foil has problems sticking to the wire and it slides and it's annoying, so the small wire just makes everything secure. And now I'm covering it all in Super Sculpt original, bulking it out. Now I wanted him to be super, like, kind of like really thin. Like if you guys see my last one, this is a remake of my old one, my old pumpkin monster back I did in like last year. And as you know, he was really thin. I think I even said in my video I wanted him to be like super like thin, gaunt. So that's why his legs are super thin. I'm cutting out his feet right now. His feet were a little bit tricky because like I didn't know what to do with them, because it's like, bro, like you know, like the feet is like the least thing that you think about when you see this thing, or when I envisioned that the feet wasn't even like a thought in my head. Everything was legs and up. I didn't even think about the feet, so it was kind of hard, but I did make it work. I'm adding his kneecap. Again, he is gonna be like, initially I wanted his legs to be completely bone. So let me tell y'all something. So the story that I had with this character is that the original, as you can guys see in the background, he was gonna be the like sort of like the old version of him, and then this new version is gonna be him after like a few months or a few years, and like he's grown, he's starting to rot because he's a plant, obviously, and plants rot over time. And so I wanted like some of his limbs to be just like bone, or like dead plant, or whatever the hell. I wanted that to be like kind of like beige, brown, white color, you know, like a bone or a dead plant. Now I'm adding vertebrae in his spine. I really like how his spine is just completely exposed like that. Now I think I'm adding thorns. Yeah, I'm adding thorns into his body. This was very long because I had to dip the end of each little spike in bacon bond so it'll stick. And these are just like toothpicks that I cut off the end of them with wire cutters, and I just cut off like 30 of them. And after like an hour of doing that, this is where we are. So anyway, back to my little story. So later in the video, he's gonna have like a cloak, and the cloak is gonna be like tie into my story, because my story is that, I don't know, before we sidetrack, as you can see, I wanted it to be a nice transition from his spine to his ribs. And so as you can see right there, I added like a little like meat flap, almost. Pause. That sounded really bad. Pause. But the meat flap, so it's like a nice transition, as almost as if like it got like ripped off or something. I don't even know. But I think it's a cool, nice touch. And these ribs are too thick, so I go back in and kind of like split each rib in half, and it looks way better because these look super goofy. You know, like where like ribs aren't that thick. Like in my old sculpture, I look at it now and I'm like, bro, it looks super goofy. Like it looks like cool and scary at first, but I look at it now and it's like, it looks goofy. Anyway, as I was saying, he's doing like a cloak. Now obviously the cloak isn't gonna be pretty, because the story is he came up from the ground. Obviously he was a cursed pumpkin, came up from the ground, killed the farmer, or no, he's on a farm, right? Came up from the ground, killed the farmer on the plantation, took a scythe and took like a tablecloth, like a big cloak or something. I don't know what it was. And so now he became the Pumpkin Reaper. That's his name, the Pumpkin Reaper. And so that's just my little story behind him. And obviously over time he starts to rot away. But anyway, I was working on his arms while I was talking. Now initially I wanted his left arm to be like sort of like that planty texture with like the wrinkles and stuff on it, but then I wanted it to be completely bone, completely. The whole arm wanted to be bone. That was the arm that was gonna be in front, facing in front. So I wanted that one to be like kind of like a show, like a showing off the bony arm. And so I'm cutting it super thin. Now, if I knew this beforehand, I wouldn't have bolted out with aluminum foil, because that kind of gets in the way. Like if there wasn't aluminum foil, I would have made it a lot thinner. But you know, whatever, it's whatever. I had an elbow bone onto his thing, because if you guys look at arm bones on humans, there's the the humerus and the whatever the other one's called, and there's an elbow on there. There's an elbow on there, right? And so that is what I was kind of referencing, making his hand off camera. And I wanted him to kind of be like jumping off the sculpture almost, like look like he was kind of like breaking the walls. You know how like artists sometimes like they'll draw characters in a border in a box, and then like the head will be like poking out the box. That's kind of what I was doing with that, but in sculpture form. And now I'm adding knuckles onto each hand, because it's gonna be pure bone, so all the details of the hand gotta be there. So the knuckles gotta have to be there. And so I'm making each knuckle, one knuckle for each finger. There's 4 fingers. I usually sculpt 5 fingers, but this time I wanted to go 3. I don't know why. I think 3 just looked like a lot like cleaner and a lot more thin. And now I'm adding spikes into his arm. Before I did that, I started to bulk out the background. Initially I was just gonna do like a dirt, like just straight up dirt, but that looked boring. And so I go in after and add some more details, but that comes later. I'm just adding some spikes on him. This one took a long time again. Took like half an hour. Just doing the same thing with the second arm. But this one's actually gonna have plant texture on it. So I make this arm a little bit thicker, and I have the little squiggly wrinkles on him and stuff. And so as you can see, I'm doing like a bunch of those, doing it like random orders, because I think the more random it is, the more like organic and natural it looks. So I'm kind of just like putting them on randomly and smoothing them out. Alright, and just making a second hand. I include the whole process with the hands because I don't really know how to explain it, and I think the best way to explain it is just for you guys to see it. Now, I don't know if any of y'all work with clay yourselves, but I learned this from Ace of Clay. Anyway, that's like a little Ace of Clay finger trick. I'm just testing out his scythe. Initially, I was gonna have a short scythe, but while I was making him, I was like, you know, it would be cool if you had like a long scythe. And so I tested it out and I like it. So I made a scythe long. Pause. And I'm just detailing like so. I'm just pressing out a ball of aluminum foil on the blade to rough it up, and then I'm using my explorer tool to add wood texture. But anyway, I just hit the table. I'm just giving him some knuckles, attaching on his hand. Like so. This is tricky because Bacon Bond, when you first use Bacon Bond, it's like super just like soft and doesn't want to stick. But after a while, even before you bake it, if you let it sit, it kind of just like it hardens a little bit. So it's easier to work with it after a while. But anyway, I pre-weight the scythe, by the way, and I'm kind of just like trying to just like make his fingers look like it's gonna wrap around the scythe, because I wasn't gonna bake the scythe with it because that would have been too tricky. So I bake the scythe, or I bake the scythe and then attach it after it's baked. So I pre-baked it, by the way, and now I just took like a big strip of clay. This is cape, a big strip of clay, putting wrinkles on it. Like so. I did the same thing with a Tuscan. Now I wanted this cape to be like, first of all, I wanted two things. When I was going to do this, I wanted two things. I wanted it to not cover his whole body. I didn't want it to be a cloak. I wanted it to be a cape, not a cloak. There's a difference. A cloak covers your whole body and has sleeves and everything. A cape is just a piece of cloth that goes over your back. I wanted it to be a cape. I didn't want it to cover his body. I wanted you to see all the detail that I put in his body. And two, I wanted it to be super tattered. So I wanted it to be like pieces attached. I wanted it to be like rips and tears. And you see me propping it up with aluminum foil because I wanted it to be super exaggerated. Because it's like, bro, it'll look so boring if it was just like laying down like that. That shit would look so boring. So I make sure to prop it up with aluminum foil so at least have some interest and some sense of like atmosphere with it, you know what I'm saying? And I accidentally tore a piece in his back, as you see right there. I tore a piece in his back. I kind of just like went with it. And also, what I also went with is while I was putting on the cloak, thorns poked through the cloak and sort of poked through. So I kind of like ran with it. I kind of liked the look of it. So I ran with it and gave him spikes on his back. And you see right there, I'm just toothpicks poking out holes in the cloak and putting the toothpicks in there. I wanted to make it look like he just threw it on and just booked it. Just like, where are we going? Where was he going? I don't know. But he just ran. That's what I wanted to go with. Like he just took the scythe, took a cloth, and just ran. I thought it was pretty cool as I'm making his head right now and just kind of just like sketching out the teeth. Now this is the first attempt. The first attempt, the teeth were too thin, and so I end up going over that. I'm going over that and making thicker teeth that look a lot better. Like, see right there, those teeth look too thin. You see that? And so I cut them out and like a quarter way through, I'm like, you know what? This looks like doo doo. So I patch it up and try again. And this time I make them a lot bigger, which looks a lot better. And then I have to do the tedious process of cutting out all the clay around the teeth, which took like half an hour. So I cut pretty much all of it out, but it's just to let you know, it took a while. Now I wanted to really upgrade my old one, so the face needed to have a lot of detail on it, which was hard because I didn't really have an optimal way of holding him. Anywhere I held him, I would have crushed him. So what I had to do is I had to basically just figure out like how can I hold him while doing the least amount of damage, and that way was holding him on the bottom and the top, I guess, for now. As we get more progressive and we start detailing his whole face, it gets a lot harder. And now I'm cutting out his eyes. I want his eyes to be like angry, but not like super just like I'm pissed at you. Sort of just like, yeah, I'm mad, but no, not mad. I don't want him to look mad. I wanted him to look scary, not mad. There's a difference. But I wanted him to look mean nonetheless. So I made his eyes a little bit curved. I do the other side off camera, and now I'm just indenting his nostrils with my mini ball stylist. And now I'm just adding some more of that pumpkin texture to the bottom of his head. And so I covered that with the hood. Now while making the hood, I was kind of like debating whether to make the hood or not, because I was like, wait, if you just like took a random cloth, why would there be like a perfectly intact hood inside the cloak, you know? Like, why would that exist if it's just like tablecloth or some shit? But I don't know, I ended up just like running with it. I like the hood a lot, so I just ran with it. Even though it didn't really match up with my story, it's whatever. It looks pretty cool. And now, like I said earlier, I'm going back to my ground and adding grass texture. This really like brought some interest to the base. It was looking too boring. I needed to bring some interest in it and some spice to the mix, you know what I'm saying? And now I just did the grass texture, baking it, and now it's time for paint. Damn, what color is this? This is like brown, gray, green, and like beige or something. I don't even know. Oh, and black. There's like a whole bunch of colors I made for this color. As you see, I'm going in with some beige. This is some like off-white, like sort of like light beige, because I don't want it to be like super in your face white, but I want it to be like almost there. So I'm going with that. I'm going that on his spine and his left arm. And initially I was gonna paint both of his legs like completely bone, but after that I was like, you know what, that's too much. That's too much bone, bro. Pause. Too much bone. And I'm now just adding a really thick brown wash. This like brown and green mixed together. Really thick wash to make it look super dirty. Cause again, like he's out in the wild, you know. Like his shit isn't gonna be clean. So make sure to make his whole arm dirty, really dirty. And I don't know if y'all know how I wanna mix colors. I'm gonna tell y'all anyway. I'm now painting his head a really dark yellow. I think I mixed Folk Art Pueblo with like gray and like brown, or so I don't even remember. It's like I dulled it down a lot, and I'm painting just his eye sockets, his nose, and the inside of his mouth all black. I was pretty sloppy with the mouth job, but it's fine. I go over all of it with more yellow or more orange, I guess, more Pueblo mix. Now I'm going over that with a black wash. This is a pretty thick black wash, because again I want it to be dirty and dark. Now my art style is very dull and very rustic, and that's kind of like what I like. I think it looks cool. So that's kind of why all my colors are super like dulled down. I think it looks cool. I haven't really made like a vibrant character, like, you know, in like a really long while. I don't think I made one ever since I stopped making colorless sculptures. And now as a final touch for the head, I'm going on with a super thin black wash just to give it a little bit of dirt and a little bit of darkness on him, because it was looking a little bit too bright for me. And after it's dried, I'm going over the whole back, or I went over with the whole back with that same brown color off camera, and now I'm dry brushing on a lighter shade of that brown. And I think I dry brush. I think I add white to it one more time. I do like 2 dry brushing phases onto it. I super glued on like so. It was off camera because I'm stupid. But we can call it done. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hey. Look. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Finish making the monster. I don't even know I'm a toddler. I'm a toddler. Goo gaga, goo goo gaga.